Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there. I'm the brother Dama Agabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, as you can see, the title of this article, Dystopian Rollout of Digital IDs and CBDCs is happening. All right, and as we tell you over and over and over again ad nauseum, this is all going to lead to the MOTB, to the mark of the beast. All right, which will be, forced upon every single individual person on this planet. All right, this is not talking about rich nations or poor nations or big nations. This agenda and these CBDCs and these digital IDs are for every individual that's walking upon the face of the earth. It's a global digital slave system that these devils are rolling out. And your only access into these things eventually will be the MOTB. All right. And this is why, they're pushing this massive rollout of you having this digital ID, your biometrics being, acquired, and you having to willingly forfeit your biometrics in order to, use particular, systems within the society. And eventually your digital ID will be your biometrics and everything, your biometrics, your iris scan, your fingerprints ultimately will become your new, that'll be based upon your new identity. It'll be your access, and that'll be, the key to turn the door in order for you to eventually be allowed into the system, and then eventually, it will lead to the MOTB. All right. And this is a pretty good short article. But as we know, hey, it's our job and our duty to give you warning from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and letting you know that this is the system that's coming. All right. Pretty soon they're getting ready to crash this economy. You got China and a lot of these companies are dumping the dollar, are dumping their debt for the U.S. dollar. And it's causing the dollar to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And nobody is buying up the debt anymore. So eventually they're going to have to completely bring in a whole new financial system. But first, they're going to crash this current Federal Reserve system and, paper dollar bills and the financial system as we know it. And when they bring in this new digital system, in a complete overhaul fashion, this is going to be your only way into buying and selling, into operating within this man's a new world order, this whole, dystopian, future that he's getting ready to create. And without it, hey, you will be killed. You'll be separated. You'll be starved. You won't have access to buy or sell, to go to the grocery store or travel or buy water or be identified on this man's new system. And otherwise, you'll be completely left out and shafted out in the cold, and eventually you'll be killed, man. All right. And this devil is, like I said, is happening. All right. They're getting ready to bring this system. This is why you see, Trump rolling out all of these National Guard situations. You're seeing America now getting involved in the war with Venezuela, I think it is. You keep hearing him talking about, we got to crack down on crime. We got to crack down on crime, all these mass shootings, because all these things, are going to be a lead up ultimately to this man bringing the order out of the chaos. All right. So you can't be ignorant of these things. You can't be so in the dark and so naive not to think that this man is crazy enough to pull it, because he is going to pull it. The system is already created. It's already in place. They're just waiting for the right crisis and the right situation, or the right economic collapse, or, the next lockdown or whatever, to roll this system out full force. All right. That's why we always say all roads are going to eventually lead to the MOTB. So it says Whitney Webb breaks down the coordinated global push for a new dystopian system of control, marrying digital IDs with CBDCs. See, and you can't have one without the other. You can't be given your CBDCs, your central bank digital currency, without having your digital ID on board. These two things work hand in glove. You can't have one without the other. All right. And this is what the system these devils are pushing. It says this isn't conspiracy. It's all in their own documentations, like we've been bringing out with Klaus Schwab and Noah Harari and the WEF, all of these different, technocrats that are rubbing shoulder with Trump, that are involved in the Trump administration. the Elon Musk, his super apps, all these different, so-called, everything going digital. These, this new fourth industrial revolution is all a part of the agenda and the plan. And they're going full steam ahead. It says they are building a full spectrum digital cage, and its two locked doors are digital identity and central bank digital currencies. You cannot have one without the other. You see? And they've been prepping and gradually preparing you people for this system. This is why people are so hooked on their phones and technology, and everything's going digital. It's been it's being gradually fed to you, so that now you're so used to it and you're so, hooked on it that, when they roll this thing out, it's just going to be an easy transition for a lot of for a lot of you sheeple out here, man. And it's going to be presented as salvation and as peace and as a way to get everything back on board when all hell breaks loose, to fix all the flaws of the old system. This is going to be the new system that they're going to create. That's going to fix all of the problems, and it's going to make everything more convenient and make everything work faster and smoother. And you people are going to take that bait, not knowing that you're being lured into a trap for a digital slavery, and to give these elites, complete and total control over every aspect of your life, man. All right. It's the ultimate trap and snare. It says the plan is to replace your government issue ID with a digital ID, but it's not just a card in your phone. It is fundamentally built upon your immutable biometrics, your fingerprints, the precise structure of your face, the unique pattern of your iris. This biometric data is key. It is the hard link that ties your physical body directly to your digital identity credential. And this is why we cussed out the IUIC when the Bishop Nate said that the MOTB is dealing with rich nations and poor nations. That making it seem as if it's not being built upon a individual person by person situation, because that's exactly what it is. All right. It doesn't say you're not going to be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark, dealing with, nations and countries having it. No, it's dealing with each individual person within that society, because what makes cities and states and city and states is its citizens, man. All right. And every single citizen on this earth is going to have their biometrics linked, to their CBDCs in order eventually to buy and sell. You see, it says it is the hard link that ties your physical body directly to your digital identity credential. It says your very body becomes your password. You see, the reason this is so critical for them is the financial system. The UN and Bank for International Settlement docs overtly state that digital ID and CBDCs are designed to be integrated. The system cannot exist without this biometric digital ID. You see, they're going to have to know who you are, what you're doing. This is how they're going to be able to track and trace every single aspect of your life, what you're buying and selling, what you're watching online, what you're putting on tweets, where you're moving at all times. You're not going to be able to wiggle around outside of the system without them being able to identify and track and trace you, man. All right. They're going to give you your CBDCs. You're not going to be able to, let somebody borrow your CBDCs or loan somebody CBDCs, that's going to be no longer that's not going to be an option. You're not going to be able to side hustle or do things on the side or operate outside of the view or the control or the the eyes of this new digital beast system, man. You see, it's a complete trap, and it's going to give them complete and total control over every aspect of your life, man. And this is why they're going to be able to control your behaviors. This is why they're going to be able to force you to do things that you ultimately wouldn't want to do if you had the freedom to or the option to choose. You're not going to have an option to choose, whatever they tell you to do or whatever they put on the table, you're going to have to take it, or otherwise they can turn off, they can shut you out of this system. All right. They can come and send a drone to come find you wherever you're at. If you're trying to go on a run, you're trying to rebel. Hey, they'll be able to pinpoint and find you in real time, man. It's not going to be like now, you can commit a crime and you can be on the run and you can, do a crime in California and go and dip out to Sacramento or to Portland, Oregon, or New Mexico, or cross the border and go into Mexico, without them being able to track and trace you. With this system, that will be impossible, man. It says for this new digital financial system to function, they must absolutely know every single participant. You see? And this is why it says this, man. All right, this is Revelations 13 and 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. And that word mark is charagma, which we bring out all the time. A thing inserted, like I said, which eventually is going to be that MOTB that you're going to need to fully integrate yourself into this new digital beast system. All right, it's going to start, slowly, first with them just having your biometrics, but eventually it's going to lead to this charagma. You see, and within it is going to be what we know that the root word for charagma is charax, and the root for charax is grapho. And what's going to be inside that charagma? All of your information. All right, a tracking device. Your CBDCs, all of your vital information that's going to be trackable. They're going to be able to follow. They're going to be able to see every single transaction and every single thing that you do at all times, man. And ultimately, you're not going to be able to buy or sell or function in this society eventually without that charagma. But first, they're going to need your biometrics on board. And then eventually they're going to tell you, look, take this C-Ragamuffin, take this Neuralink, take this whatever. It could be 4 or 5 different charagmas that they could put inside of you, But guess what? Once you're fully in this system, you're not going to be able to deny it. You're not going to be able to say, well, I don't want it. Well, you can, but it's going to come with some dire consequences, man. You see, it's a total system of control. And it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Chi stigma, You're not going to be able to buy or sell or operate. Like I said, it goes deeper than buying and selling, but that's going to be, that's like the main function of life. Your ability to have money to go buy the necessities that you need on a day-to-day basis, man. You see, but now these devils are about to put a system in control to where that's going to be totally in their control. And unless you are, abiding by their rules and their regulations and their control, they'll be able to stop you from having access to these things. Read this part again. It says, for this new digital financial system to function, they must absolutely know every single participant. Your digital wallet will be tied to your digital ID, which is mapped to your biometrics, total financial biological linkage. We see the prototypes being rolled out now. Sam Altman's WorldCoin lures people to scan their irises for a unique identifier and a digital wallet. This is the exact model. The UN's Building Blocks program, listen to this part, see? It says the UN's Building Blocks program forces refugees to scan their iris at checkpoint to receive food rations. So if they don't have your iris scan or your biometrics on the system, you try to go in there and get something, it won't register. Your iris can't be read, it can't be scanned, so therefore you can't check out to get your food rations, man. It's gonna be like this on a global system like this, man. All right. If you don't have your biometrics, if you don't have your MOTB in the future, you're not even going to be allowed access into the grocery store or into particular to have the ability to receive any funds or goods, food, medical care, or gas or fuel or whatever. If you're not on the system, guess what? You can't participate. You can't check out. You can't get food. You can't get any goddamn thing. You'll be killed. You'll be separated, man. It says the value is deducted from a wallet tied to that biometric ID. You see? You see that, man? It says they justify this total surveillance under the guise of closing the identity gap, claiming the world's poor need digital IDs to access essential services like banking and healthcare. You see, and that's where that's the deception. That's the game they're gonna run. This is the excuse they're using to justify this shit, man. All right. You got to bank the unbanked. You got to get everybody on this shit because, if the people don't have it, then they're going to suffer and they're going to starve. And we care so much about everybody. We want everybody to have a fair shake. We want everybody to be able to access these programs and to access this wonderful help that we're offering them, not knowing that it's a complete fucking scam and a fucking trap, man. It says this is the ultimate onboarding mechanism into a system of programmable control where your access to society and your own money is permissioned and revocable based on your compliance. You see, now that's the part they're not going to tell you, but they're going to present it as, oh, it's here to help and get everybody on this system. It'll be so convenient. Everything will run so smooth. And they'll lie and tell you, oh, you'll still have your freedom of speech and, and you can have the options to choose this or to choose that. And ain't none of that shit's going to exist, man. It's going to be a complete system of total control. And they show you in all these dystopian movies, man. You're not going to have, they're going to have this money is going to be programmable, but it's going to be that money can have a time limit. You can receive CBDCs at the beginning of the month, but once that month or once the end of that month is over, that shit's not going to roll over into a CBDC, a bank account or a savings account that you'll be able to stack up and use at your leisure, or to use it to spend it on whatever the hell you want to spend it on. That's not going to happen. Because why? They're going to be telling you that, look, they're going to be rationing rationing the type of access you have to so much of the resources on this planet Earth. It's going to be very, very heavily restricted. You're only going to receive enough protein that AI design, designates that you're able to have for that particular month to function, man. You're going to only be able to use so much ounces of water a day, so much electricity a day, travel so many miles a day, be allowed certain foods a day. And anytime you go over your daily allowed amount, you won't be, you won't be able to go any further. You'll be shut down. You'll be told no. All right. And this is the world that these devils are creating, but they're not going to come out and just tell you this, man. It's all a snare and a trap for your soul. And this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16. It says, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit." And what is a pit? A trap. And this system is absolutely that 100%. It says he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. You see? It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, which is why what? They're going to bring chaos to bring the order. And they're going to come with the answers and with all the solutions. All right. And it says, and though he pretend to help thee, yet he shall undermine thee. Point blank, period. So back here, it says, this is the ultimate onboarding mechanism into a system of programmable control where your access to society and your own money is permissioned and revocable based on your compliance. This is the bedrock of the new global financial system. It is not about convenience. It's about control. A digital ID will hand them to keys to your life. A cashless society will lock the door behind you. Your body is the new currency, and they are forcing you to hand over the keys, right? Because why? They're trying to become God via this technology, man. And, and guess what? And your body is no longer going to be yours. They're going to, merge man with machine. They're going to put these neural links inside your skull. They're going to put all this other technology where they can read your brain waves, read your thoughts, be able to read your emotions, control, how you feel, this, that, and the third, pump you with all type of gene editing material to make you in their own image and all type of other bullshit, man. All right. All these dystopian movies that you see is ultimately the plan that these elites have, but they're marketing it as a way to save society and to make life better and to merge man with machine, to let humanity evolve, beyond the common means of what's humanly possible. But really, it's all for them to have control and to trap you into this digital slave system, which is going to come in the form of that MOTB, man. And this is what the prophets and the scriptures have been warning us about, that the man of sin, the wicked, the son of perdition, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is planning to do in these last days. And like I said, it's happening and it's here. They have the technology. They have everything in place. They're just waiting for the right situation to roll all this shit out, man. And you can't say that you weren't warned at the end of the day and that the prophets didn't speak on these things, man. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this was edifying. Until the next one, shalom.